discussed in the previous common data transformation, what we do is we will proceed with exploring these common transformations, how we can perform it with the Power Query Editor. So Power Query Editor, we use it for data preparation or data cleaning, data pre-processing. For that purpose, we use it. Different stakeholders, or when you work with US clients or any customers, right? US or UK or even some other country customers, they use different terms when it comes to the data preparation. Some people, they say ETL process, and some they say the data preparation, data munging, data cleaning, data pre-processing. They use different terms. Don't get confused. I just write it quickly here so that you should be familiar with these terms also. When someone talks, don't panic or don't get confused. So they say data preparation or data pre-processing, and they call it data munging. Okay, and data engineering, data munging, data engineering, or data cleaning. Okay, all these terms are same. Okay, and some some see these things, right? We do it as part of ETL. You have something called ETL. E stands for extract the data. T stands for transform the data. L stands for load the data. If you have to create any report, obviously you need to have the data. The data may not be available in all the cases in the form of Excel or flat files. Okay, the data might be available in some RDBMS system or some cloud or so. So in that case, you need to pull the data from the source system. That is the step. That step is called as extract. Once you pull the data to your local system or in your Power BI. So what in the next step is you need to clean the data. So having the data alone not sufficient, guys, to create the reports. The data should be clean and it should be in the proper format for you to go ahead and create the reports. Okay. Hence, you need to do the data transformation for the extracted data, and then you need to load the data, okay, in your model. Okay. Which model? The data model in your Power BI desktop. Okay. But in the real world, as I discussed in the previous session, there's something called data warehouse. Once and staging area. In the staging area, they do the data transformation. Staging is a temporary area. Okay, so this is only for the ETL, the data transformation for process. Okay, it is only for the data engineers. Okay, they will be using this place, and everything is automated. Okay, so usually if you want to ingest the new data, they use this term called ingest. They want to ingest the data from your source system to your data warehouse. Before they do it, they the data will get ingested to a staging area. Here they do the data cleaning, everything, data pre-pro, all these things. Okay, see, all these steps are nothing but all these are not different steps. All these terms are interchangeably used. End of the day, it represents the same thing. Okay, staging area they do it, and finally they load it into something called data warehousing. But not all the clients, they have the luxury to have the data warehouse. In that case, what they do is in Power BI desktop itself, they use the Power Pivot, which is nothing but the modeling. Okay, so but the question here is the data warehousing itself. They have done everything, because staging area, they did the cleaning, everything. For example, in your case, the project where you were, the customer already, they have the source system, staging area, and the data warehousing environment is that they already do the data cleaning, data pre-processing, and then they load it here. Then you are lucky. All you need to just pull the data from the data warehousing and import those models or tables in your Power BI desktop, it will become a, that will be made available as part of your Power Pivot or the modeling. So I'm talking about this one. Okay, model view. In the model view, if you go and see all the tables, whatever you pulled, right, from Excel file or the SQL server or Oracle, all the tables will be appearing here. Okay, and then it will be there. So in that case, you don't have to create the data model. The data model is readily available. So where in the case of data warehousing, environment is already present in your client environment. Okay. If they don't have any, for example, you are working with a small scale company and they don't have data warehousing environments. In that case, everything you have to do it here itself. Okay. Staging area, you can use it to do data transformation. Data transformation, you can use it to do with Power Query Editor. As I told you, Power Query Editor, you cannot do all complex data transformation. One is the performance issue. Other one is you cannot load the humongous amount of data in your Power BI desktop. In that case, you have to use the direct query mode. When you use the direct query mode, lot of limitations. Obviously, the transformation part, you'll be doing it as part of your SQL server itself by writing a stored procedure or stored function. Okay, or you can create some CTs, right? You can pull the output of the CTs, you can use it here. But there are customers, they don't want to write too many lines of code. Okay. So in that case, they are using ETL tools like SSIS or Azure ADF, Azure Data Factory, and so on. Different ETL tools are available. They are using separate ETL tool. And what they do is they do data transformation. They have something called data engineering team. They are the one doing all the things. Okay. The data pre-processing or data preparation, everything, they do it. And then they push it to your data warehousing. So in that case, your task is just to do the report creation, but still, as per a report creation, you may have to do little bit data transformation also here. Either you can use the DAX or you can use the Power Query Editor. You do it there. Okay. Yeah. So don't get confused if they use any one of the time. It's all same. But there is a subtle difference. Okay. Don't tell me does data engineering involves just data cleaning. Data cleaning and data, we have something called data, what do you say? Uh, Feature engineering. Okay. 1 second. What I will do is I will just load the CSV file here. I just load that one here, sales w04.csv here. It will take some time. Let's wait for some time. The same file I'm using it. Don't worry. Okay, because once you are comfortable how to do the data transformation, the basic level, and in the even medium complex level, then the next step is advanced level. Okay, we have something called SCD type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. Okay, that we can implement it in the source system SQL server itself, or you can try with Power Query Editor also. Okay. Look here, the same data I'm going to use, I'm going to hit the load button, the data will get loaded. So what is the question, Varun? Okay, what is SCD type 1, type 2? Yeah, slowly changing dimension. Okay, what is slowly changing dimension? Anybody has any idea? What is slowly changing dimension? What are the type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4? Anybody has any idea? Okay, don't worry. We will discuss it, a later point in time. So first, let us understand the basic stuff, how to do the data pre-processing, everything. I think most of the things we have done it, using this one. Anyhow, since we have more non-IT people, right? I am just repeating it one more time. Yes, Varun, yeah. See, Varun, the situation here is, if the data is available in your Excel sheet or some flat files, when you want, once you load it, you need to check whether the appropriate data types are assigned to the respective columns or not. Okay, if it is not, then you need to assign the correct data type, and you need to fix data related issues in case of any special character if you find it. Okay, and then the data types and duplicate records. In case you find any duplicate records, you need to view the duplicate records, and you need to share the duplicate records with customer, and then check with that with them, why duplicate records, and then get their consent, right? Whether you can go ahead and create, remove those duplicate records. Ideally, removing the duplicate records only give you the accurate result. Still, you need to check with the customer so that in the future, ETL pipelines or jobs, they can make sure that the same issues should not recur. Okay, this is the data set. Okay, and what I will do is, we know what is applied steps pane. In this pane, what are the steps that you carry out that will be captured here or recorded here, so that later point in time, after a week or so, when you open this report file, and if you want to see what are the steps that I can do, for example, row.id, I just right click on it. I don't need this column. Okay, I click on remove this. No, this is one step. Okay, in this step, I just remove the column. Table dot remove columns. Okay, I just removed the column. What is the column name? Row.id. Okay, change the type. Table dot remove column, change the type. Row.id. Okay, so it removed the column. Okay, here, fine. Here, as I told you, the applied steps will contain the mix of both the steps carried out by us and by the Power Query Editor by itself. Okay. And here we can see that order date, the issue is there. Here we can see that the dates are not in the proper format, and you can click on the ABC icon. Okay. So here next to the column name, we can see the ABC or 123 or 1.2 or something like that. So wherever you find ABC, that means a text data type. We can see that the order date got assigned with the text data type. It is absurd, right? So it's not the correct data type. It's supposed to be date data type, right? So how do I change it? You can click on this icon ABC. You can see all the data types that are available as part of your Power Query Editor. You can see it here. And here you can select the appropriate data. This is not a decimal number data type. It's a date data type. You can use the date. Supposing along the date, the time is also available, then you need to choose this one. But in this case, if you take a close look at these values that are available in the order date column, you can see that, it's all, so, month, date, year format. Okay, so if you see 31, we are seeing 31 in the middle, which means this cannot be a month, right? It's a date. So hence, the first one is a month, second one is a date, and the last one is the year. So month, date, year, it is the US date format. So what we will do is we can go and change, but still if you look at the data very closely in this column, the format was not used consistently across the rows. What do you mean by the format? If you see here, the month, date, year got separated by forward slash. Next line, you can see that the month, date, year got separated by hyphen. And similarly, if you see here, right, if you move down and see here also month, date, year is there. But here forward slash day. Somewhere they use the forward slash, somewhere they use the hyphen to distinguish month, date, year. Month, date, year. So ideally, all the place they're supposed to have used the forward slash, or they should have used the hyphen. Why the mix of these two things? If you blindly go and click on this and click on date, it will throw an error. Okay, because the values, the date value stored in the order date column is not consistent. So what should I do now? What is simple? You can keep the cursor, next to the order date, not the ship date. Okay, you need to still keep the cursor somewhere here. Right click on it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace values, option I just chosen. And here what I do is I will replace all the hyphen by forward slash. Okay, simple. If I hit OK, what will happen is a new step will get created. Replace values. Look here, replaced value. And if you see the value now, all the hyphens got replaced by the forward slash. But still, it remains a text data type. You know, tell explicitly, hey, this is the date data type. But before blindly closing your eyes, and if you click on this icon, if you change it to date, it will throw an error. But in our case, what we did, when we looked at the data, we could see somewhere they use the hyphen, somewhere they use the forward slash to distinguish month, date, year for format. Okay. Hence, we consistently change the format as forward slash. So, but that's all we did. But we need to change the data type, right? So date data type. I'm going to click on the ABC, but still I'm not going to use these two things because a US date format. I'm going to click on the using locale. See, this is a date data type. And here I'm going to select English United States. English United States. Date English United States. I'm going to hit OK now. Now you can see that the order date column got changed as date data type. So next to the order date, you can see an icon, the calendar icon. Okay, so with that, we can make out the order date column now got converted successfully as a date data type, because here we don't see any error. And the error next to that, 0. So how did you get this statistic, valid percentage, error percentage, empty percentage? So you need to click on the view ribbon. And here you have something called column quality. Okay, column quality. You need to enable this one. With this you can profile your data. How much percentage of data, how much percentage of valid data you have in each column, how much percentage of error data in each column you have, how much empty percentage of data you have in each column. You can see that here, right? Cool. So this is the one is really helpful. I just click on home ribbon. And next one is yeah. Now we have successfully converted date data type. So we have formatted the values that were available in the order date column, because the values were not stored consistently with the proper delimiter, right? Somewhere they use the forward slash, somewhere they use the hyphen. Okay. And then we went ahead and clicked on the icon here, and we just clicked on the using locale. Here we specified the data type as date, and then we selected the United States data type, right? So data type. So now it got converted, and here what I'm going to do is next one. So this is called reformatting. Next step is how to create the derived columns. What do you mean by derived columns? What do you mean by derived columns? 1 second, guys. I'm here. What do you mean by derived columns? Yes. So based on the existing column, if you want to create additional columns, that is called your derived columns. Okay. So here the order date column I just selected. So what we need is, you want to store the year alone from the order date into a separate column, and month alone into a separate column, and date alone into a separate column. So you might be asking this, why should I store the year separately, month separately, and date separately? Because if you wanted to perform like for like analysis, like for example, you want to compare this year sales with the previous year sales, or the current month sales with previous month sales. or the last 15 days sales with your previous 15 days sales, right? So in that kind of situation, if you store the month, date, year, including the quarter separately, right? So you can perform like for like analysis. So what I do is I just show you. So look here, I have selected the order date column and I'm going to click on the add column ribbon. Guys, remember one thing, I am still in the Power Query editor. In the order date column, right? I just selected this column, clicked on the add column. In the add column, and if you see right in this ribbon, you can see the date menu here. Click on the drop down. Here you can see the year year option. You click on the year. You can see that at the end of the all columns, you can see a new column called year got created. Okay, here you can see it extracted only the year from the order date column. Very good. So I just scroll towards the left side. And then I'm going to select the order date again. I'm going to select this one and month. This time I'm going to extract only the month from my order date column. Select this one again and click on the date and quarter of the year. Okay, end of the quarter, start of the quarter, or quarter of the year, right? Here I'm going to select the quarter of a year. You can see quarter. Okay, so this date falls in which quarter? The first thing, if you see here, it's July month, right? July month is in which quarter? Third quarter. So it put the third quarter. Supposing you want to compare the current year, current quarter with the previous year, current quarter. You want to compare it, it is possible now. Okay. Because with these columns, right, we can do that one. And again, I'm going to select the order date column, click on the date one and the day level. Look here, name of day. This is really, really helpful. In your x-axis, if you want to see Monday through Sunday, okay, how much sales we made, right? So, and you wanted to display the day name in the x-axis. In that case, you can use this column in your x-axis, and the y-axis you can use the sales or quantity, all the whatever the numeric column that you want, you can use it. Okay, now we have the day name. Okay, so this is pretty simple and straightforward. Okay, and these are called your derived columns. Year, month, quarter, day, name. We have created different columns. I just select this one and I just go back here. Yeah, week, here, week of the year, week of the month, start of week, end of week. Okay, and week of, month, I'm going to select it. This is, the 6th week of that month. Okay, this day falls on the 6th week of that month. So which one? The 31/7, right? 6th week of that month. Okay, and what else we can do that? So these are the columns, right? These are called your derived column, the last one. The year, month, the quarter, day name, and week of month. These are called your derived columns. Okay. And the next step is I just go here and I just look at it randomly here. I can see that the sales and numeric columns got assigned with the correct data. Discount 1.2, that means it's a decimal data type. Profit 1.2, which means decimal data type. 1.2 shipping cost is a decimal data type. Quantity 1, 2, 3, it's a whole number, right? So it's a whole number. But sales, unfortunately, we can see that ABC got assigned. That means the sales column got assigned with the text data type. Ideally, this is supposed to be decimal number. Okay, either decimal number or fixed decimal number. Okay, but here, if I click on the decimal number, or let's say a fixed decimal number, when I click on this, so what happens? It throws an error because I'm going to undo this one. So before you convert from one data type to another data type of your column, check the values that are available in those column, okay, and understand why this column, numeric column got assigned with text data. There is something wrong here, right? Hence, you need to take a look at the data. So when you look at the data, you can see that the dollar got mixed up with the numeric values, alphanumeric, okay? And if you scroll down here, you can see NA. NA stands for not available. For empty values, by default, Power Query Editor assigns NA in the case of numeric column. sorry, in the case of text data type, okay, in the case of text data type, it assigns NA. In the case of numeric data type, look here, in the case of quantity or discount, look here, you can see null. Null means not available, blank values. Okay, but now you might be asking this one, why it is not assigning null here? Instead of null, it uses NA because it's a text data type, okay? So now what I do is first address the problem and then we will convert to in the appropriate data type. So we need to remove the dollar from this value. How can you do that? Right click on it, replace value, and here the dollar, and replace with nothing. Find the value dollar and replace with nothing. That means it's an empty string. So now the the dollar went off, and then again I'm right click on it, and I'm going to use the replace values. I'm going to replace NA by 0 here. So I'm going to hit OK. You can see that the NA got replaced by 0 and the dollar got removed. Now we are left with all the numeric values, majority of them, right? We don't see any other issues. And here we have some blank values, right? Okay, here it did not even assign anything there, NA or null, nothing. Okay, here we will ignore that at this moment, and I'm going to click on the ABC. I'm going to select the fixed decimal number. Now, see, you can see the dollar, right? So you can see the dollar, which is nothing but fixed decimal, which means only the 2 decimal values. For example, I'm going to undo this. Either you can do this or you can use the decimal number. But when you select the decimal number data type, what happens? So followed by the dot, right? The decimal values, you can see 3 digits or whatever the number of digits available in the decimal part that displays as it is. We don't need the 3 digits and all. So in that case, you can select fixed decimal number. Fixed decimal number will display only the 2 digits in your decimal part. Got it? That is the difference between decimal number and fixed decimal number. We are done with this. And what else? Yeah, so we are done with this. The next thing is duplicate records. Do we have any duplicate records in this data set? So far, what we did, we just did some kind of cleaning and reformatting, assigning the proper data type, and we have cleaned the data before assigning the date data type to the order date column. Similarly, for the sales column, we have done some kind of data cleaning, and then only we change it to the correct data type. And we created the derived columns based on the existing column called order date. Fine. Next step is we need to check, do we have any duplicate records? For that, what I do is I'll just click on the home ribbon. But remember that I'm still in Power Code Editor, okay? In the Power Code Editor, home ribbon, when I clicked on, I can see here the keep rows, remove rows. There are 2 options are available. If I click on the keep rows, the drop down here, right? You see the keep top rows and keep duplicates. Here the blank records are not available. Okay. Okay, we will check are there any duplicate records? So that I just click on the keep duplicates. So here in the sales column, I selected it. Okay, that's wrong. Actually, I just click on it. What I do is I just use Control A to select all the columns in one go. Okay. And then what I do is I go to the keep rows and click on this and keep duplicates. So these are the duplicate records. We can see it here. So this order ID, we can see that repeated, 2 more times. In total, we have 3 records for the same order ID. We have the null values, right? Blank values are there. Blank records also are there. Here we can see the blank records. Nothing is there in 2 records, right? The 2 and 3, if you see, nothing is there. So we could see that not only the duplicate records are there, even we have the blank records are there in this data set. This is for visualization purpose. Okay, before removing the duplicate records or before removing the blank records, first check whether do you have any duplicate records or do you have any blank records, right? You need to check it out. For that purpose, what did I do? I select the keep rows and clicked on the keep duplicates. Okay, in this case, the second and third row, right? Both the records have the duplicate, null value, blank values. Hence, it displays that. Okay, because two records, we have duplicates. In this case, two records have blank values in it. All the columns in the second and third records, we can see that the blank values are there. Okay, but what if I have only one blank record? That will not be captured here. Okay, so in that case, you need to use the keep. So click on the remove rows, and here you will find something called remove duplicates. Okay, so not the remove duplicates, remove blank rows. Ideally, they could have given the keep blank rows here, but they did not. They keep that feature here. Okay, probably we can recommend Microsoft. And here, what I did before checking the duplicate records from my given data set, I selected all the columns by holding the control key and the A, right? So control A, and then when you do the control A, all the columns will get selected. And then go to keep rows and click on the keep duplicates. You can see this one. And we have something called keep errors also. Do you have any errors in my data set? Keep those rows. And if you find any error, find out the root cause why Power Query Editor, created error for that specific. We don't see any error. Very good. So now what I do is this is for exploration purpose. I'm going to click on the crossbar next to the kept errors. There are no errors. Only thing is the kept duplicates are there. So in that case, what you need to do is you need to blindly don't remove all the records. Before you remove these records, so, we have clicked on the keep rows and selected the keep duplicate. This is for visual purpose to understand which records we have duplicated. You can send the screenshot or this data to your source system owner or clients, okay, and ask them, and tell them that we have duplicate records. Can I remove this? Still, you check with them, okay. But in this case, obviously, right, any of the first and four and first record, 4 and 5 record, right? You can see that the same value got it. But now the question is, which one should I retain? Can I retain this one or can I retain this one? Can I retain? End of the day, it's all duplicate records. Okay, and if they say any one of them is good, but don't remove all the 3 records. These 3 records. Okay, keep at least 1 record. Remaining 2 records, duplicate records, you can remove it. That is what they are going to suggest it. And then blank values also you can remove it. Fortunately, say we have 2 records that have the blank values in it. Hence, in the duplicate rows, when I selected here, keep duplicate rows, it shows these blank values also, right? So okay, now what I do is, and the kept duplicate next to that we can see the cross mark. I'm going to click on it. Okay, now we have seen that the duplicate records. Now what I do is click on the remove rows. See, it's something like whether a person has a fever or not, right? First you need to check. Blindly you cannot treat the patient. Okay, the same way, when you before you act on anything, you need to check whether we have any issues in the data. For that purpose, you can use the keep rows. With the help of the keep rows, when I selected the keep duplicate, it shows, yes, this person has some issues. This data set has some issues. Next one is the treatment. Like, after the doctor identify whether you have fever or not, the next thing is he's going to give you some tablet or some injection, right? Similarly, now we are going to treat the duplicate values. Now I'm going to select the remove duplicates. What happens? It removed all the duplicate records. So you can see that remove duplicate step got included here. Now the question is, how many number of records are there after removing the duplicate records, right? You can probably scroll down and see it here. 29 columns are there, and Okay, here we don't see them. And what I will do is I'm going to select the transform ribbon. Here, the transform ribbon, you will find something called count rows. Look here, note that one. This is your count rows. Okay, when you click on the count rows, counter row step got included here. You can see that 25,001 records are there, right? So what I do is I just, before removing the duplicates, you want to check how many number of records are there. I just select the change type. Now what I do is I just go to the transform ribbon, click on the count rows, insert, okay? 25,004 records were there in the original data set. After removing the duplicate records, yeah, so this is the one since I inserted, right, that it causes confusion. Okay, I just remove this 25,004, remember it. And if you select this one counter row, you can see 25,001. So of the 5 records, it removed 3 records. Of the 5 records, it removed the 3 records. Okay, now we have 25,001. It removed the duplicate records only. Now I just go back here. And now I just checked, after removing the duplicate of how many records we have 25,001. And now I just go back here and check, do we have still the blank records are there here, right? So here I just click on randomly here in order ID column. Look here, still that one blank record is there. See, we have 3 records got duplicated, and 2 records we found the blank value. We don't, instead of removing the blank records, what we did, we removed the duplicates. Hence, the 3 records which has got some value in it, right? It retained 1 record, and remaining 2 records it removed. And then it left with only 2 blank records. And the 2 blank records, it removed only 1 blank record. Still, we have 1 blank record is there. How do I remove the blank record? Now, okay, now we need to remove the blank record also. Okay. And for that purpose, again, I go to the home ribbon and remove rows. And here, remove blank rows is available. I just click on it once. Sorry. Okay. So this is the mistake. Most of them used to do it. To remove blank rows. If you have any blank rows in this specific column alone, it will remove, the rows there. Okay, now what I do is 1 second. Ideally, what I was trying to say is select all the columns and then you do that one, okay, remove blank rows. But in your, in this column, we know very well only 1 blank value, that is nothing but across the rows, the blank rows are there. I'm going to click on the count records, count rows, okay. After removing the 1 blank record one, so now it should show 25,000 records only. Very good. So after, see, this is how you need to keep check it, okay? How many duplicate records were there. After subtracting the duplicate records, how many records we are left with? Are those number of records are correct? And even after removing the duplicate records, are there any chances that we have do blank records? Yes, we found the blank records. We removed that one also. After doing all the things, we are left with 25,000. Very good. This step is not because this is just for our verification. I'm going to click on the cross ribbon. We are done. Okay. And remove duplicates and replace value 1, value 2, everything is there, right? Okay, good. Remove blank rows. Cool. So we have done a lot of steps, right? We carried out some more steps here. And I just move this up. One second here. I'll just come back. There is something smelling. Okay. Commonly performed checks, okay, the data quality checks, okay, whether the given data is in the proper format with respect to the data type. Or do we have any duplicate records, any blank records? Fine, because blank row records are not required, and also the columns that are not required. Okay, for example, the the row number. We are saying a row number column. It is nowhere related to our report creation, right? Hence, remove the column. Those columns are not required, right? And if you are sure, you can remove that so that your report performance will be faster. Okay, if you keep all the columns, though use only few columns in your report, then it will literally slow down the performance, the report performance. This is one of the optimization technique that you need to remember it. Okay, and as I told you, right, if I want to revert back, for example, I mistakenly deleted the row.id column and I need it back. You can go back here, you can see somewhere here, delete, remove duplicates, remove columns. You can see that. Click on the step, remove columns, and then check, which column you row.id. Later point where someone says, no, we need this column. Why did you remove it? I need it. So in that case, you just click on the cross next to this remove column step. If you click on the cross, you will get back your the row.id column. Okay. So this is the best practice, whichever columns you are sure that you are going to use it in your report, you can keep them. And see, it is not that just because one report, you need only 8 columns or 4 columns out of the 29 columns or so, right? So don't blindly, remove all the columns. Make sure that, in almost all the reports, right, whichever columns that are required by you, right? So you need to keep them. Those columns are, especially row.id is kind of a row number or something. It's not going to be helpful, report, those kind of columns you can remove. Still, you can go and check, do I need all these columns, right? So though you may not require all these columns, but there are some reports you may need this columns, okay? Since retain those columns that you needed for other reports, for specific report for specific columns like row.id and all, right, you can remove it by closing your eyes. But still you can restore it or recover it by undoing those step removed columns, right? Next to the cross icon, if you click on it, this step will get removed and then it will revert back your deleted column. So your deleted column, you will get it back. That is the advantage of Power Query Editor. If you do any step, if you carried out any step and later point in time, if you realize I wanted to undo that specific step, you can go ahead and click on the cross mark because the Control Z or Control Z will not work in Power Query Editor. Okay, and also you can see the M language generated for each and every step, whatever we carried out. Okay, at least remember, certain functions, the Power Query Editor or the M language functions, right? Table dot select rows, and you have something called table dot select rows, table dot removed columns, okay, uh, and the inserted month. Okay, here table dot add column. So add column, remove column, and replace call value. So these are the functions, right? The table dot replace value, table dot add column, table dot remove column, remove columns, right? These are the functions that are available as part of the Power Query Editor. The interview, they might ask you, can you tell me what are the functions, the built-in functions that are available as part of Power Query Editor? You can say table, so create the adding a new column, table dot add column, removing a column, table dot remove columns, and rename column, table dot rename column. That's all, okay? If you remember these things, right, that is enough at this moment. For example, you have inserted week, so table dot add column, you have added a new column. Okay, other functions, week of month. We have something called week of day name. Look here, date dot day of week name. Day of week. This is another function. Date dot day of week name. Apart from add column, remove column, rename column, there's something called date dot day of week name. With that, you can extract only the the day name. Okay, text data type. Okay. So that is so these are the things, if you remember it, that will be good. The interviewer will think, okay, you have really worked and you have a very good interest in terms of understanding the steps that are carried out, or the power script, right? The M script that generated as a result of the steps carried out by you. Yes, see, in between this, right? So this is what the question from Varun. So can I move the steps, just above, in this one? Look here, that is possible, but you need to do it logically. Look here, in this case, it is fine. Okay, removing the blank rows is independent of removing the duplicate row, but it's fine. For example, yeah, similarly, you can do it here also, right? So you can first insert the month and the year. You can move up and down the steps. But here, in this case, look here, we have changed the data type, right? We change the data type locale here. Okay, just, above this, if you move this one, it will throw an error, because in this step only, the order date column got converted as the date data type, right? Before converting the date data type, is it possible to extract the year? No, right? So if you move this up there, right, it'll throw an error. Obviously, if you see here, yeah, when I move this, it shows automatic date dot year order date and all, right? So that is the thing you need to understand. But again, you can click on the wheel icon next to each step. Okay, for some steps, you can see that the wheel icon. You can click on the wheel icon, and you can also understand the function used: date dot year, date dot month, date dot quarter. So date of quarter of year. Okay, quarter of year, start of quarter, end of quarter, something like that. Okay, insert a day name, all the things. Okay. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the last step, and then I'm going to click on the close and apply in the file ribbon. And here I'm going to choose the close and apply, because I'm not going to work any more with the Power Query Editor. I'm going to close this Power Query Editor, and also have the apply option also is there. What it does is, what are the steps so far I carried out: renaming the column, adding a column, replacing the value, all the things, right, will get applied permanently to my model view, my Power Query Editor model. So far, whatever the changes, removing a column and all, right? So we did everything in the memory only. See, once the data get loaded, the data will, it's in memory, right? Because it's a flat file, and the data will get loaded in memory. So in that case, whatever the steps that we carried so far, it's all happened, right, in the memory only. But to make it permanent to your model data, which is nothing but this data set, right, sales W04. So when you click on the apply or close and apply, it will make that changes permanent. Look here, can you see the row.id? 1 second. Yeah, row.id is missed, right? It got deleted. And that you can see it in the model view also. And if you scroll up or down here, right, you can see all the columns, but row.id is not there. But if you, if you realize that leader pointer, no, I want to include that column also, you can go to the Power Query Editor and remove that step, the remove column, right, for the row.id. If you remove that step, you will get that column back into your model. These are the simple steps, right? These are the simple and commonly performed data transformation, okay? Apart from this, we have something else called the missing values. 1 second. I'll go back to the Power Query Editor again. We'll explore some other options here. And in the keep rows itself, if you click on the drop down here, you're going to keep top rows. Let's say you are given, the Excel data or the flat file. So we have huge volume of data is there. Instead of viewing all the data, right, you want to keep only the top rows, top n rows. Click on the keep top rows, and it will prompt you to enter how many number of records you want to see from the beginning. I want to display the first 10 records, or second, or first 20 records, first 100 records, or first 3 records. For example, I'm going to select only 5. And here, show me keep only 5 rows. Rest of them, you can exclude it. I just click on OK here. I could see that the first 5, top 5 records got displayed here. Keep first rows, right? First 5 records. Fine. Now I have seen, these are the 5 records. I don't want to see each and every record. And fine. So in that case, how to keep the first rows or first 1,000 rows, first 100 rows. With that 100 rows or 1,000 rows, you do some kind of data profiling and see the less volume of data. If you do some kind of data profiling, right? So that will be pretty faster, and you can, you can understand the data better. Next one is the keep bottom rows. I want to see the last 10 records, okay? Number of records. For example, last 10 records, not from the beginning, from the bottom, okay? The bottom 10 records I want to see. So, I just type 10. Now it will show the bottom 10 records. Look, okay, these are the bottom 10 records from the bottom, right? So I'm going to click on the cross. So now I just, undo this. And so now we understood what are the top rows. First 10 records, first 20 records, first 1,000 records. Now the question, why should I see the first 10 records, 20 records or 100 records? Because your volume of data is very, very huge. Okay, better you filter the data using top rows or bottom rows. First, you check with the top rows. Take top 20 records, first 20 records, and then check, the values are correct, the formats are correct, everything. Checking with the less number of records will not take much time. Similarly, take the last 20 records or so, or 30 records, and then you check, the data are correct. Sometimes, the first 10 records or 20 records itself not show any issues. That doesn't mean your data is good, right? And use the keep bottom rows. And when you click on the keep bottom rows, it will ask how many number of records should be kept from the bottom. So you can keep whatever the number that you wanted. So 10 or 20 or 100 or 1,000, you can select. Within that, you check, do you have any duplicate records? Any other issues are there, okay? Next one is, apart from top 10, top n, bottom n rows, is there any way I can select the number of records, randomly from a specific point of view, specific record? Yes. That is when the keep range of rows are very much helpful. You click on this icon or the value. And here it shows, 2 text fields here, right? First row and number of rows. For example, here, I want to start with the second record or fourth record. Okay, I just give the fourth. I don't want to see all the thing, but I want to see from the fourth record to and the 10th record. What is 10th record? The fourth record is something like ES and CA2012, right? I just click on OK. Yes, okay, SCA2011. Okay, 1 second. Fourth and 12th, yeah, here it shows. The 10th means from the fourth, right? In a 10 record ends here. Okay, ideally we should have used 4th to 9th record so that the 4th record to the 10th record values it has shown. Okay, again we will try it out, and here I'm going to select keep range of rows in the 4th record to 9th record. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So yeah, 7, 8, 9. Okay, here number of rows 9. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, ID 2012 should be there, right? Yes, ID 2012. Yes, correct. Fine, got it. So you can select any specific range of records with the help of the keep range of rows. Okay, I'm going to undo this step. We are done. So now we understood, what is top rows, bottom rows, range of rows, and keep duplicates and keep errors. When you select the keep errors, it will show which all records you have errors in it. Okay, and the next one is the remove rows, remove top rows. First 10 rows, I want to remove it, or remove the last 10 records, remove alternate records. Okay, I don't want to remove the top 10 also. Here first row to remove, number of rows to remove, and number of rows to keep. For example, I want to remove the third record, from the third record, how many number of records that you need to remember. So here I just say, 3 records, number of rows to keep. Okay, how many number of rows to, so I just say, 3 here. So in this case, first row to remove, starting from the third row, you remove it. And then here 3 records, you remove it, and then keep only 3 records. Okay. Here you can see that in 2013, and here we can see that in 2013. Okay, 71429 81826. But it shows all the records here. Look here, remove duplicate, not the remove, remove alternate rows. Sorry. Okay, this is the one, remove alternate rows. But in the case of alternate, it remove the duplicates 2, 3, 3, 3. Okay. And here I click on the wheel icon. And here we can see that first row to remove is 3. And number of rows to remove is 3. Number of rows to keep is 3. Okay. Yeah. So fine. So in this case, I just undo this again. In this case, I just select the remove alternate rows one more time. So IN 2013778. Okay, and number of rows to remove, you can see 3 records. Okay. Here, what just remember this one. Number of rows to keep, you can specify. If you don't specify, what will happen? It will throw an error. So you need to specify some number. Here I just say 25,000 or something like that. Okay, so we'll give some number, but I'm going to give the big number. This is the total number of records. Okay, remove third one. So IN 20712492432 should be removed. 42360. Yeah. So ideally we should have given one more value. Number of rows to remove was 4, right? Including that record. Starting from the third record to that one. So now it got removed. Correct. Okay. Removed alternate rows also possible. Remove the duplicate records also possible with this option, right? And remove blank rows, we have seen it. Remove errors. In case of any error, you can choose this option to remove those records that have no error in it. Is it clear? So with the help of the keep rows menu, you can find out, you can explore your data. Okay. So for example, with keep top rows, display the top 10 rows or 20 rows. In that case, what will happen is the number of records will get reduced. The less number of record, if you do some kind of analysis, right, it will be faster. Which one? The performance will be faster. Sometimes you don't want to create the report with all the data. For example, you want to select only the first 10 rows, and with the 10 rows or 100,000 rows. Okay, say you have 100,000 records are there. You want to select only the 1,000 records, top first 1,000 records. With that, you create a visual also and see it displays the correct data or correctly, or everything is correct or not. And also check any duplicates are there, everything, right? So in that case, with the less number of data, if you do data profiling or data analysis to understand the quality of the data, the performance will be fast. It will save a lot of your time. Okay, for that purpose, you can use the keep rows menu, and remove rows. Also, you make sure that you are checking. You select each and everything, so that you will get to know about the quality of the data and all. Okay, keep errors also is selected. This is also very important. Even if you don't have any errors, right? You need to select the keep rows also. In case of any error, you can find out, which row caused error and what was the error, right? So you need to fix those errors. Otherwise, it will not, whatever the step that you carry out, that will not be applied to your model permanently. Okay, you throw an error and remove rows. Yes, fine. So now that you've understood, how to use the various options that are available under the keep rows and remove rows menu. And the applied steps in this pane, we can see what are the steps that we carried out in what sequence. If you want to review it later point, these are the steps are really, really helpful. And other advantages, for example, if you want to append another data file, right? So in the next month, this is, let's you know, this is a week 4 and week 5 data also coming in. Even that data file also contains all the same number of columns here, except the year, month, date, day name and all, right? So the remaining, except those the newly created column, the rest of the columns, let's say you have that in your new data file. If you load the data file, what will happen is it will apply all these steps automatically to your new data, which is similar to the same thing. So when will that happen? For example, when you refresh the data. Okay, this is week 4, and then what it is, week 5 data you got it, and let's they combine the week 4, the folder connector, we have seen it, right? So what will happen is, if any new file comes in, and when when you have scheduled the refresh the data in the Power BI cloud service, for that specific date and time, that it will go and check in the specific folder, are there any other files are there. If it is there, it will take that files data also, and then it will append it. While appending it, it apply all the steps carried out by us for this specific data set, or will be applied to the new data set also with the similar number of rows and similar number of rows. So here, the advantage of Power BI Editor is you can automate the data transformation also, right? I'm going to click on the close and apply ribbon, and I just close this. We are done. Okay. Next, what I will do is I'll just stop the